Growing up, I felt like all the people I needed to talk to me never talked to me. And what I meant by this, I mean the guidance. The guidance I needed from my mom. She could not provide. The guidance and the talk I needed from my sisters wasn't there because mama never showed us how to live life. Guidance I needed from my dad, he was nowhere to be found. And the guidance that I needed from my lovers, when they seen me, all they seen me was as a sex symbol, not as a person, not as a soul that needed to be heard. And when I needed guidance and advice from my friends, it always felt like they shut down. I don't know if it was just me or if it was just them, but that's a conversation for another time. So I created Talk with Lynn for the ones who feel like nobody can hear them, for the ones who are screaming in silence, and for the ones who just need to be heard, for the ones who feel like they need guidance. I'm not here to guide because I can't give you all the answers, but what I can provide is a space where you can learn and try to build the life that you want to live off of my experience. I came from nothing. My mom came from nothing. And I was able to realize at an early age that what was provided to me didn't necessarily need to be the life that I lived. I could create any type of life I wanted to live. Now here we go. We're here to learn, we're here to grow, we're here to heal. Welcome to Talk with Lynn. Hi guys! Finally, after 5 years, I was able to record my first video that I'm going to post on YouTube, which you're watching right now. My first episode, Getting Real with Talk with Lynn. So, like I was saying, I realized you can create, I realize I can create the life I want. I knew I wanted to create something new, something real, something that was mine. It didn't have to be perfect, but it would be close to what I imagined perfect would be for me. I battled with people all my life. Arguments, betrayal, losing friends, and also losing me. By the time I was 29, I was done. Like literally, I was broken. I didn't know who I was no more. I've experienced so many experiences that were meant to break me, that I was not meant to come back from it, but somehow with God grace, I've always been able to bounce back. It was bad. And I thought, like, in my 20s, I thought like life was happening to me. I thought all the bad things that I endured, all the negative experience that I faced, and all the horrible feelings that I felt were just happening to me, not realizing that I was creating most of the chaotic things in my life, most of the battles, most of the repeat, everything that kept happening that was bad. I allow it. I went looking for it, and I endured it until I got to a point that I said, I don't want to live this life no more. I don't want to fight no more. I've been fighting all my life, and I don't deserve it. Yeah, I have done things that I'm not proud of, and but my heart, I feel and I believe my heart has always been good. It always came from a good place. It always wanted to love. Even if I did something stishy or petty, it was always out of love. It was either because I was so angry and didn't understand why this person did this to me, so I was out to get them. But I swear it was always out of love. So at 30, at 30, I hit reality check. From 27 to 29, I hit rock bottom. And by the time I was like 32, I said, this is enough. I need to live a peaceful life. I need to live a good life. I work hard. I'm a good person and I have a good heart, so I deserve to live a good life. And that's when things have changed dramatically. And now I can proudly sit here and record my videos coming from a place that has been broken, that has been dark, has been angry for a long time, but is finding peace and is I am finally healing in a way that I am so proud of myself. And it's only right that I share it so people can understand, like, when things happen to you, when life, because that's what's happening, when life happens to you, and most of the time when bad things in life is happening to you, you are allowing it. And you are also allowed to say, hey, I want to change. Hey, I want to live a better life. So I'm going to do things to get that better life. So yeah, here, let's go with the episodes. Episode 1. So I have to start from from the beginning. So let's start from the beginning. So when I was about, from what I can remember, when I was about 6 years old, my mom and my stepdad moved my whole family from Miami, Florida to New York, Brooklyn, East New York. I remember it just being me, my twin sister, my middle sister, and my little sister. It was 4 of us at that time, and my stepdad and my mom. We also had a dog. I remember that. I remember my mom was always like mean. She was never nice. She never knew how to have a conversation without like yelling or being angry. Most of the time we seen her, she was always mad. The only time I ever remember my mom being happy is when she was doing something for my dad family. She did a lot for my dad family, my stepdad family. But however, my stepdad, he was kind of like good to us. Like, I remember him like spoiling us and buying us things. I remember there was this one Halloween, my dad took all of us to this Halloween store and spent like $1,000 on us. And we bought all these costumes, all this decoration, all these candy. And my mom was so upset that he spent all the money on us. But those were like good memories. My mom was my mom. And growing up, I wasn't always nice to my mom. I don't remember being nice to my mom until I was like 18, 19, after I had my daughter Emily. Like, from a little girl, like, I swear, that's why I'm like, my brain, it never stops like working. It's always like moving, it's always on some shit. But as a little girl, I always knew like my mom wasn't a mom. Like, the things I expect her to do for me, she never did it. Maybe I seen my friend's mom do things for them and I expected my mom to do it for us, but she never did. And so I was always so angry at her, like, and I'm like, why and she was always so nice to other people. She was always so giving. Like, she used to always take people in, take care of people. But when it came to us, she just did not know how to be a mom. And I really I penalized her a lot when I was younger because I was so angry at her. And it wasn't until I had my daughter, I grew, I matured, I believed, and I finally understood. Like, I started realizing, only from my family point of view, that I can't expect people to give me what they don't have in them. But I was only seeing this from my mom point of view. I didn't realize that that works with everyone around me. I can expect people to give me love and to give me peace and to give me good things when those things don't live within them. Also, I can't expect to receive these things if I don't have good things in me. I've been angry for a long time from childhood because, like I said, the things that I expected, the guidance, the talk, the love, the affections, the things that I needed were never there from my parents. And I think that affected me a lot. And I think that affects people a lot. I think it affects some of us, or maybe all of us. It's just an opinion. And those trauma, those experience, those things you needed from childhood, when those things are not given to you, it follow you into adulthood. And a lot of things that you do is because of those things. But okay, let's get back on track to my script. I totally went all the way off, but I'm trying to get to all the parts. Growing up between Brooklyn, Queens, and Survival. So by the age of 6, like I said, we moved. I remember childhood and we spent a lot of time in school. So there was not a lot of like after school programs or like programs out the house besides the things that we did in school. So a lot of my childhood experience went through school. School itself was like a whole nother story. It was a very painful experience. I think the only time school was good for me is when I was in high school. I think after I got pregnant and I really changed my point of view of life a little bit. Wiseness, I think, was something that was installed. Even though my mom never gave it to me, I just always was so infatuated with just learning and trying to understand why things wasn't the way that it wasn't supposed to be, why things were the way that they were, if that makes sense. So 6 years old, New York, school. I spent a lot of my school years fighting. I remember the first fight I got into was with a boy. I remember his name was David. It had to be at least like the 5th grade before junior high school. For him, and I was like, oh, ever since that fight, I was like, oh, nobody gonna believe me no more. Nobody's gonna believe my sister. I always knew I was like pretty. I just never believed it, if that makes sense. So by the time I got to like junior high school, the girls like really, really didn't like me. Or I don't know. Maybe that's what my perception was, that they did not like me, because I remember like the first day of 6th grade, I was all cute, my little all yellow outfit, because that was like my favorite color. So I had all these yellow pants on, this yellow shirt, these white Nikes. They were fresh with the clear bottoms. I remember we moved from Queens to Brooklyn, Brownville. It had to be the 7th grade. It was the 7th grade. A group of girls surrounded me on the first day of school. I remember one of the girls was like, oh, you was looking at my friend Stink, or whatever the thing is, whatever she said. And I remember me, I was always a fresh mom. And I'm looking at her like, I don't know what you talk about, but ain't nobody worry about you or your friend. Boom. Since that day to the day that I graduated, it was survival mode. Every day I went to school, it was a fight. Every day I went to school, I was fighting. It was like I got into so much fight that by the time I was in the 8th grade, I was not able to participate in any of the senior activities. The only thing I was able to participate in was graduation, which was crazy because by the time 8th grade came around, I stopped going to school. It was so bad that I didn't want to go to school no more, and my mom never realized it. The school never realized it. I couldn't even believe that I was able to graduate 8th grade when I did. Also, what happened? I also got jumped in the 7th grade by a group of girls. I don't remember why I got jumped, but thank God that was like the only time I ever experienced that, getting jumped, and I never got jumped again. I remember the last fight. No, matter of fact, I remember fighting when I was also pregnant. I was like 17 years old. Yeah, 17 years old when I got pregnant with my first baby girl, and still a baby girl. 17, and I remember it was Jamaica Avenue train station, the J line. We were on the. I was on the line waiting for. I was on the line trying to get like a Metro card or something, and then the girl in front of me. I don't know if I was positioned like in the line, but I know I was in front of her. So she probably got upset because I went in front of her. She elbowed me on the line, guys. I was like, at least, I think I was at least 6 months pregnant because my stomach was showing. She elbowed me. When she elbowed me, I swear to God, guys, I blacked out. All I remembered was the police grabbing me off of her, and one of her braids was like literally in my hands. Crazy fight nonstop. My last fight that I remember that I ever had was in college. That was the last fight I ever got into. I think I was about 19, 20, or maybe 20, maybe 22 the most. Because I remember I took like 2 years off and then I went back to school. So I was at least 20 or 21 or whatever the case is. And it was Queensboro Community College. And we was going to school. And around that time, I was partying a lot. So we used to party a lot. And then we went to this lingerie party where I had posted this picture of me in a lingerie and on Facebook, and one of the girls at school printed the picture off Facebook and taped it on the school wall. And we was in college at this time. This wasn't even high school. So yeah. I think I skipped the part that when I got pregnant at 17. Alright, so let me just finish. So when she posted that picture of me on Facebook, we started like talking all this crap on Facebook. Da da da. I'm like, when I see you in school, I'm gonna beat you up. Da 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 da. They thought I was joking, and honestly, I fought all my life. So I didn't know how things worked in college. It was my first year in college, and like I said, you was not going to bully me, and I had to fight. If I had to fight, I had to fight. So we talked all that smack. Da 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 da. I went back to school the next day with my hair tied. I walked into the classroom with one of the girls. It was like, I think it was three of them. I don't remember their name, but I remember it was like three girls talking smack. One of the girls, I walked into the classroom, my hair tied, and I was like, oh, you talk all that shit? Da, da, da. Beat her ass in the classroom. Then I went to go look for the two other girls, couldn't find them. The security guards came for me. I was expelled from school for a whole year, and that was my reality check. Ever since then, I never fought ever again. I used to always say like I'm too pretty to fight, so no, you are never gonna find me in a fight no more because I got past that phase where I feel like I don't need to fight to prove a point, you know. But at that point, I didn't know that. So I had to get expelled from school. I had to write a letter to get back into school. And then after that whole experience, I said, Relinda, this is your reality check. We ain't fighting no more. You too pretty. And that was it. But let me go back to the last time I had a fight when I was 17 years old. After that fight, when I went back to school, from junior high school to high school. So high school selection. I did not apply for no high school in Brooklyn. I decided that I didn't want to go to school around the girls that would like me because for some reason, all they wanted to do was fight. Like, I remember one time when I was living in the 90s, I had to fight this one girl like 3 times one day. Like, the last fight that one day, it was literally in slow motion. Like, it was horrible. So I realized that girls who look like me, guys, who are black, who are from the hood, they wanted to fight. Everything was about a fight. They find any reason to fight you. If you were pretty, they fight you. If you didn't bother them, they fight you. If it was a boy that they liked, looked at you, they fought you. And around that time, it was a lot of like girls just fighting. They were fighting boys, they was fighting girls, they was fighting old people, they were fighting everybody. So I decided that I was not going to apply to fight when I was 17 years old. After that fight, when I went back to school, okay, from junior high school to high school. So high school selection. I did not apply for no high school in Brooklyn. I decided that I didn't want to go to school around the girls that would like me because for some reason all they wanted to do was fight. Like I remember one time when I was living in the 90s, I had to fight this one girl like 3 times one day. Like the last fight that one day, it was literally in slow motion. Like it was horrible. So I realized that girls who look like me, guys, who are black, who are from the hood, they wanted to fight. They Everything was about a fight. They find any reason to fight you. If you were pretty, they fight you. If you didn't bother them, they fight you. If it was a boy that they liked, looked at you, they fought you. And around that time, it was a lot of like girls just fighting. They were fighting boys, they was fighting girls, they was fighting old people, they were fighting everybody. So I decided that I was not going to apply to no school in Brooklyn because I didn't want to fight no more. So when I got my high school selection, I got accepted. When I got my high school selection back before I graduated, I was selected to go to attend. When I got my selection to go to high school, I was selected to go to Norman Thomason. And I was so happy. Like, it was in the city. I was like, yes, I'm not in Brooklyn no more. I'm not in Queens no more. I'm going to Manhattan. I'm bougie now. Norman Thomason High School is where, like, my brain, like, blew me away. And I knew for a fact that my life did not have to be the way that it was. You know, my mom didn't have nothing. So because she didn't have much education, she didn't have much anything, she moved us around a lot. And being moved around a lot, you pick up a lot of bad habits, especially when you're moving around to like these bad neighborhoods and these, low come neighborhood. Your child does become affected. They pick up things from their surrounding. So when I went to Norman Thomason, it was the first time that, I was exposed to like people that wasn't only from the hood. I was exposed to people that was from all 5 neighborhoods of New York. And that school was lit. Like it was like 11 floors. We had the escalator. They had the Spanish club. They had the hip hop club. They had all these lit stuff. Norman Thomason was lit. I had a good time at Norman Thomason. It was a little challenging at Norman Thomason because I was like the only black girl in most of my class, and it was a lot of Hispanic girls, and I think my insecurity really declined a little bit in Norman Thomason. But I was able to make it through the 9th grade and make it to the 10th grade, and then boom, I got pregnant in the 10th grade, and then my mom moved us from Brownville back to Queens. And then when we moved back to Queens, that's when I transferred to John Bound in Flushing. We were there. I was there for a whole year. Me and my twin never went to the same school. We're fraternal twins, so we were never alike. We never went to the same school. When I went to Norman Thomason, I think she went to some school in Brooklyn. I forgot what's the name of it. It was right there off of Flatbush and Church Avenue. If you're from Brooklyn, then you know what I'm talking about. I don't remember the name of the school. I'll look it up and put it at the bottom. So we never went to the same school. So when we did move from Brooklyn to Queens, I transferred from Norman Thomason to John Brown. My sister went from that Brooklyn school to Springfield. Also around the same time, my twin sister got pregnant first. And when she got pregnant first, I felt some type of way. Yes, I did, guys. I was young, dumb, stupid, envious, lack of love. My mom was the nice to us. And we were young, so we didn't know much. So my sister got pregnant, and she started getting all the attention. And when she started getting all the attention, I felt some type of way, and I went and got pregnant. So we both we both experienced our young teen pregnancy together, which was a crazy, but it was also an eye-opening experience for me. I think God I think that God let a lot of things happen, or if you don't believe in God, the universe, or whatever you believe in, let things happen in your life. And if you can try to find the good part in it, that's where I feel like growth happens. So there's a lot of like traumatic experience that happened to my life that also correlated with the outcome of good things. And that envious jealousy part of me that caused me to go get pregnant at 17 changed my life. And yeah, so we went through that. I went to John Brown. When I went to John Brown, John Brown was a good John Brown, from John Brown I went to Queen's Academy. Those 2 years were the best 2 years of my were the last two best years of high school. I was also dating the father of my child at that time. I was with him all through high school up to like second year of college. So John Brown was a good experience. I didn't fight much. I just didn't really associate myself much with girls who seemed like troublemaker. I knew at that point that I needed to disassociate myself with certain people, and I was also pregnant, so I didn't date anybody in school, so there was no need to find me in any drama. 10th, 11th. When I got pregnant, I also decided that they said that it was going to take me 2 years to graduate. So I decided that I wanted to graduate school early so I can be a mom, get a job, so I can take care of my child. My mom was excited about us having our babies, but like I said, she didn't know how to provide for us. So there was no way she was going to be able to provide for our babies. We had to find a way to provide, and she made sure that even though she didn't get an education and that she didn't get a college degree, that all of us did. Even at 17, pregnant, I remember my mom, she used to wake us up every morning like, get y'all behind up. I didn't say y'all to get pregnant. Get up. She made sure, and I made it through. I made it through. I remember giving birth to Emily in April of 2008 or 7, one of them years. Still can't remember her birthday. Sometimes I think I'm a horrible mom, but whatever. Yeah, I gave birth to her, and that May I had to go back to school, and then I decided that, I wanted to graduate early, so they told me that there was an alternative program that I can go to that can double my credit, and I would graduate high school a year early. So I decided to transfer from John Brown High School to Queen's Academy High School, which was it was good. It was a little school. I love little schools. It was a little school. We really didn't have a big lunch. Was able to leave school to go out and eat. I remember having two friends. One was a Brazilian Spanish girl, and another one was a girl who dressed like a boy. We made it through those years, and guys, when I say anything is possible, I was anything is possible when you're like so determined to get the result that you want. I was so determined. I was so infatuated on the idea of graduating a year early so I could get a job and be a good mom that I went to school every day high. I took a break during my lunchtime to smoke weed and went back to class every day high for a whole year. I even also taught myself U.S. history high The only region that I passed with an 89, a 90 average region that I passed with a 90 by myself without going to the classroom, graduated a year later, left all my friends behind, still high. High. So I just want to like put it out there, like anything you want is there. Like you just gotta like really be like persistent, very very persistent. Let me see. What did I skip? You gotta be persistent on what you want. I graduated, and then when I graduated, I was so like excited. Like, imagine like being in a household where your mom used to tell you like you're never gonna graduate. You're never gonna graduate. You're never gonna amount to nothing. You can't speak. You can't write. You can't read. Like, and I don't want to paint my mom as a mean, evil person because she's not. My mom is just someone who just never had a mom. She came from a background where her dad kept her from school. He had her do things like in the household, take care of her siblings, and she never had a mom. So she didn't know how to be a mom to us, but she did her best. That's one thing I can say. Like, she made sure she cooked. She made sure she bought me like this expensive prom dress. I can't remember. I cannot lie. Like, out of all of us, all four of us, I was the only one who's able to get a $350 dress, prom dress, out of my mom, and she bought it for me. So she did good things, you know, for the things that she lacked of. But she lacked of these things because they were never given to her. And when things are not given to you, you go look for them. Because that's what I did. I went to go look for the life that I want. I went to go look for the education that I want. I went and looked for the love that I want. I went and looked for the type of mother and parent I wanted to be. And I went to look for the type of life that I wanted. And it's not easy. It's hard work, you know, and I just want to be able to put these videos out there so people can look at me and see me as an example of someone who have nothing, someone who was given nothing, someone who been through so much but still choose to want to give, still choose to want to inspire people, you know, still choose to help people understand that life don't always have to be hard. It don't always have to be painful. It don't always have to be sad. Even if that's what you were always given, and even if that's all you ever been exposed to, you have the choice. You have the ability to shift, to change your narrative, your story, and write it the way that you want it to be. Of course, God planned for you is always going to be it. But God planned for you wasn't for you to suffer. I doubt it. He want us to be happy, you know, for those who believe in it. The universe. I just can't imagine someone or something creating us to be sad and to be angry and to be mean and to be pitiful and to be envious all the time. There's no way. Absolutely not. And I know when that is all that is giving, it's hard to give anything else. It's hard to experience anything else. And it's hard to take in anything else. But I want to be an example of something different, something meaningful, something peaceful, something that heals. Because it is so much pain. And we need to find some healing. Like I said, these things are not like, the things that I'm saying are only my experience and my opinions. You can take from it and build from it. I just hope that it gives you wisdom, it gives you joy, it gives you happiness, and that it gives you the ability to understand that anything in your willing power is possible as long as you're putting your best feet forward, you're doing the hard work, you're giving love, you're giving joy, and you're giving peace and happiness. Guys, welcome to the Talk with Lynn. Like, comment, put your input, but later to the next one.